Hello, welcome to another episode of the Benchwarmers. I'm Matt, here with my co-host Ryan.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the 26th episode. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Benchwarmers06. Subscribe to our podcast on Google Play Music, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and YouTube.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss the World Cup finals and just have our final notes about the World Cup in general. And then we're going to move into the MLB mid-season report on how mine and Ryan's picks so far, how they're doing, and also discuss our home run derby picks.
The Benchwarmers.
All right, Ryan, the World Cup has come to an end. It's been a good month. I enjoyed watching great soccer for 4 weeks, but now we have to wait for another 4 years for this to occur again. But the finals, I mean, it was exciting. I thought it was an entertaining game to watch between France and Croatia. A lot of goals. France took down your sleeper, Croatia, 4-2.
They made it there. That is what counts.
Hey, no one expected Croatia to get there.
I did.
Sure, you did. But hey, you know what? Respect to both teams. They both played well to get this far. But hey, you know, at the end of the day, France, they did what they had to do. The first half, you know, the first goal scored by France, it was an own goal. Then Croatia equalized with a very good goal by Persic, or I can't pronounce his name. And then I don't know if you have anything to say about this, Ryan. The handball that got the penalty for a penalty kick by Griezmann to get France up 2-1. I mean, I thought the penalty was, you know, was valid. It was a handball. Like you can't really deny that it was a handball. But you know, it's kind of sucks to give a penalty like that in the finals.
But let's get to it. Was a handball, but it wasn't an intentional handball. It's not like he picked the ball up. Like he was in mid jump and it rolled off his hand. And I'm pretty sure it hit France's player first before it hit the Croatian player in his hand. It rolled off of that guy's arm too. Again, it happens. They were both up in the air. I don't know how you can. I mean, I get it. Like I said, it was a handball. Fine. I still think it hit France first, but you know, a championship game to call a penalty like that was a crucial moment right there. I mean, them scoring on themselves was bad enough, but that handball call, I mean, I think you got to let it go with how close of a game and how great of a game that was at the time.
Yeah, so I mean that gave France the 2-1 lead. That was the score at halftime, and then Paul Pogba scored that third goal, and then the young superstar, the phenom, Mbappe, put it away with that fourth goal. I mean, and then
that third goal really put it away for them. If you watch after that third goal that was scored, and we were talking back and forth during the game, that they gave up basically as soon as that happened, and then it gave Mbappe the chance to go ahead and just basically put them away and tell them, hey, goodbye, go back to Croatia because you don't belong here. I mean, that's basically what happened there. They literally stopped playing the game that they were playing all first half and just basically gave up at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Pogba goal definitely kind of took out any kind of momentum or any kind of belief they had, and then they kind of had to just like play aggressive and play up the field. But what happened then was they kind of gave France that counter-attacking ability, and Mbappe's too quick. You can't. Once you give him space, it's a wrap. So then it was all. I mean, if it wasn't already over, it was definitely over then. And then the only reason why the Croatians was able to score that other goal was because the goalie for France was being an idiot and couldn't clear it properly. So that goal was really just the goalie just being just not smart. But Um, Overall, I mean, I think everyone would agree France definitely had more talent than Croatia, and I think as we mentioned in our last podcast, Croatia playing the extra time games definitely didn't help the cause. You could tell like by probably like the 60th minute they kind of wore out, which I'm sure they're not going to give that as an excuse, but it's something as like people who watch sports, you know if you're playing basically an extra game and you only have a couple of days to recover, it's definitely going to be something that it's going to be tough for them to make up. And I think it showed. No offense to Croatia, but I mean, I think this is just reality that it's tough to recover in 2-3 days when you played an extra 90 minutes where the other team didn't, and they're just chilling and relaxing. So, do you have any thoughts on this game specifically, Ryan?
I mean, all in all, they came out and played their hardest and played extremely well in that first half. I mean, like I said, the 2 goals that were scored, the first one they basically gave them the goal, and the second one, I still kind of question the call. Now, like I said, I agree it was a handball, but it's what it is. But Croatia came out playing the best they've played all tournament, and France, I mean, they were just fighting to get in there. Once they finally were able to get the start of that second half up, I mean, France proved this is why they were here, and they did what they did best the entire tournament. That was beat every team that came in front of them. So like I said, I knew it was uphill. We knew both knew it was uphill battle for Croatia, but Croatia came out playing phenomenal in that first half, I think. And much respect to them, and for them to even make it as far as they have, for being so small of a country. They played a phenomenal game. They have some phenomenal players, and give 4 more years when it's here, and we'll see how these guys do.
It's not here in 4 years. It's here in 8 years.
Oh,
Croatia did play really well in the first half. I mean, they dominated possession. I mean, honestly, the only part that they didn't dominate was the scoreboard, because they were destroying them. I mean, it looked like France didn't know how to kind of play soccer at all, because I think it was like 60 or 65-35 possession for Croatia. Croatia had all the shots, but just for whatever reason, France led because of the one own goal and the penalty. I mean, it's a tough break for Croatia because, I mean, the way they were playing, you would think they were up 2-1 instead of being down 2-1. But it's a tough break. France wins their second World Cup, and they won the second one. Oh, the first one was back in '98. Now this one now in 2018. 20 years, 2 World Cups. It's not bad. Unfortunately, the World Cup is one of those things that only a small number of countries have won the World Cup. Only 8 different nations have won the World Cup, and most of them are the powerhouses. You got the Europe. What's that again?
I said Brazil has a couple in there. I said a couple. I was being polite.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you got the South American teams and then the few European powerhouses. That's basically all the World Cups. No other real teams really win World Cups, which is, I get it, but it's obviously World Cup is a big event, and all teams feel like they have a chance. But in all honesty, that's why while watching the game, even though I picked Croatia to lose, kind of wish Croatia won, because you don't expect teams like that to win the World Cup, especially because they have such a small population. They have 4 million people in their country, yet here they are in the World Cup finals. So, once again, I enjoyed watching both teams play all tournament. They played really well. Luka Modric of Croatia was named the best player of the tournament, and I can't really go against that. He played well. He took that team to the finals. He's one of the best playmakers in the world. That's why he's on Real Madrid. I'm sure Ronaldo's going to miss having a guy like that setting him up when he goes to Juventus. But hey, congratulations to Modric for winning that award, and congratulations to France for winning the World Cup.
All right, so let's get into some baseball recap. So if you remember back on, I think it was episode 14, we had given our predictions of how the lineups were going to look for the MLB for the season. So I made a couple outlandish picks all in all, but between me and Matt minus the NL East, we basically picked between the both of us. We had all the number ones except for the NL East. So looking back at the AL East first, I went with the Red Sox and Matt went with the Yankees, and that's been a back and forth all season. And it turned out at this midpoint right now, the Red Sox are number one. So, they're fighting back, trying to get that title for that division, and the Yankees are not playing soft at all. I don't think.
No, I mean, like you said, I think this is going to go back and forth for the rest of the season. Both these teams are really good. I'm pretty sure one team's going to win the division, the other one's going to get the wild card. That's basically how this is going to work. I have no doubt both these teams will be in the playoffs. I think both teams had some injuries during the season, but I mean, I'm going to stick with my Yankees pick. I think the Stanton, Judge, Sanchez lineup, I mean, they're the Bronx Bombers. They're going to break the home run record, the team record this year, no doubt in my mind, because they're already on pace to do that. And even though I think Red Sox are going to be, most likely second, I think it's going to be a back and forth division for the rest of the season.
Not second. They will be first. They will continue to be first, and I will have that win there. Just going to put that out there. So for the next division, and actually the next two divisions, if you recall, me and Matt had the same picks. For the AL Central, we both had the Indians, and the AL West, we both had the Astros. And both those teams are pretty much destroying everyone in their division. I mean, they're hands down tops. Closest team for Cleveland is the Twins at 7.5 back, and Houston with Seattle at 5 back. So they've led the way for pretty much the entire season that I can remember. And they said we both picked them to be number one. And these guys, are definitely proven that there's a reason that we were unanimous in picking those two.
Obvious. It's not really a shocker to either of us that these teams are leading the division, and I'm not surprised that we both picked them. They're both good teams. The Astros, I think, are definitely the better team here, but the Indians they're good, but I think their division's relatively weak. So I think you said the second best team is 7.5 games back.
Yeah, Cleveland is 7.5 back is the Twins.
I think it's more of a saying that their division is very poor than the Indians being really good. That's my opinion. I think the Astros, they're the best overall team. And
as of right now, Boston is the best overall team. I just want to point that again to you.
But I'm saying
yes.
I would
just say not your Yankees. That's all I want to point out again. Not your Yankees. It is Boston.
Today, yes, on July 15th. Yes, you're correct.
It'll continue that way for the rest of the season. Don't you worry. So I know it's great. Cleveland definitely has a weaker division in general. So they definitely have the upper hand there. I mean, they are the worst out of all three teams that we just talked about. 4 teams we talked about between Boston, Yankees, Houston, and Cleveland. They are the worst, and they would be in third in the AL East, and they would be fourth in the AL West. They'd be fourth in the AL West. Yes, that's how bad that division is. I'm just pointing that out, just to continue to accept what you said is fact. They would be fourth. You have Houston at number 1, Seattle number 2 is 5 back, and they're 58 and 39, and then with 8 back in that division is the Oakland A's, 55 and 42. So, and Cleveland is 52 and 43. They are the 4th best team in that. And if they were in the West division, and that is how bad of the division, like you said, they have currently.
Huh. Well, yeah. I mean, if that isn't proven to you, I don't know what else does.
So here's where we get into some bad picks, and we had joked about it back in episode 14 with the NL East, saying the Phillies and just making fun of it. But the Phillies actually are the best team in the NL East, shockingly enough. One player just upped this team so much that the Philadelphia Phillies, with a half game over the Braves, are the best team in the NL East. I am still shocked that I am saying that to you, but I'm still happy to say that to you because it is the Philadelphia Phillies, and we both are Phillies fans, so we're proud of our Phillies for that, but still shocking. Yes, I would like to change my pick, but obviously I picked the Marlins that Matt destroyed me on, and they're not the worst team in their division still. They're still better than the Mets. Not by much, but they are better than the Mets. Although your team and the Nationals aren't doing much better either.
No, they're not. Um, it's funny that neither of us picked our hometown team. I mean, I know I said jokingly that I picked the Phillies, but then I said no, got you. But wish I didn't do that. But hey, I'm happy that, like you said, I'm happy that the Phillies are first place in our division, and I hope they do keep that up. But my Nationals pick was not good, and I blame this all on Bryce Harper. Damn you, Bryce Harper! Why do you suck so bad? This is his season before free agency, and I guess he's already thinking about leaving Washington because he clearly don't give a crap right now because he's playing off. He's batting like 220, which is atrocious. And he made the All-Star team. How does a guy who's batting 220 make the All-Star team? I don't know.
And the home run derby as well. Don't forget.
I don't care about the home run derby, but the 220. I mean, regardless. I mean, I'm very disappointed in the Nationals as a whole, but specifically Bryce Harper. I'll get into that when we talk about him a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, I think how far are the Nationals back from the Phillies?
5.5.
I guess it's not too bad, but I mean, I think it's going to come down to really the Phillies and the Braves.
That's how basically it's been most of the season. I mean, I don't disagree with you. Bryce Harper is a disappointment to the Nationals. Being as his free agency season, I would expect him to do a lot better, like you had mentioned. Teams I would look to pick up a guy who's doing a lot better, but this is not one of the guys I'd be looking at picking up if he's playing this bad. He's only going to continue to get worse if he's getting older. So I mean, I would have expected him to at least try a little bit harder. And the fact they made the All-Star game, I agree with. That's kind of with that kind of a batting average. I'm pretty sure the Phillies have a better batting average, and we only have a pitcher in there. But hey, what do I know?
Well, the part that makes no sense to me is there's a lot of reports saying that teams are willing to pay Bryce Harper over $400 million. Why the hell would you pay that much for a guy who's batting 220? Like,
that's outlandish. That's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's obviously a talented guy, but man, like, he's really having a bad year for a free agency year. Like Ryan just mentioned, for a free agency year, you expect people to go off, have a career year, so you could get that money. He must have
and then be a bum the rest of the time.
Right, that's usually what happens. But he clearly thinks he's gonna make money regardless, or he just having one of the worst cold streaks I've ever seen for a superstar. Because people are saying like the Yankees, the Red Sox, Phillies, like people are willing to just open up the checkbook for a guy like Bryce Harper, but I would not pay him.
Don't do it, Philadelphia. Don't do it.
Mike Trout, legend. I'd give him whatever he wants. Bryce Harper, I am not paying $400 million. No, sorry. Not after seeing this year.
So after our discussion of the NL East and our poor pick there, we're going to get into the NL Central, where Matt and his number one pick of the Chicago Cubs lead currently, and my pick of the Milwaukee Brewers are in second place, so not too far back. It wasn't like my Miami pick. I mean, although I do have a worse pick coming up next, but then they're only 2.5 back on the Cubs. But the Cubbies are playing really well, and Milwaukee just went on a 6-game losing streak, which doesn't help me any. Otherwise, I think they would pretty much have had that number one spot locked up if they just decided not to suck recently.
Yeah, I mean, the NL Central. You said the Brewers are how many game back? 5?
2.5.
I mean, but I'm not.
After losing 6 straight.
6-game losing streak didn't help the cause. Yeah, I mean, I think this division isn't too bad, is it? Or is it the 3rd and 14th?
It's the best division in the National League.
So as I figured, the NL Central was going to be tight. I think the Cubs are going to win. I think they're the most talented team in this division. But I think, like Brian mentioned, I could see the Brewers making it relatively tough. But at the end of the day, Cubs will pull it off.
I'm still rooting for my Brewers here. I mean, I fear that this is going to All-Star break. You losing 6 straight. That's a problem, and that's going to continue to be a problem. And they're going to maybe blow in this and maybe have it up on the Cubs and end up losing 3 or 4 straight at the end of the season and end up giving it back to the Cubs. Otherwise, I mean, the Brewers have been playing pretty solid baseball, so it's kind of disappointing to see them not doing so well. I don't really want to get into the NL West at all. Let's just say Matt and the Dodgers, you guys got your number one spot, and the Diamondbacks are a half game back, so you don't have it with ease, but that's a pretty tough division, as is the NL East. But yeah, my pick of yeah, nowhere near there. So thank you and have a good day.
Yeah. Your pick of the San Diego Dads is pretty bad.
Yeah, they are the pretty sure they're actually the worst, one of the worst teams. Not the worst team in the major leagues, but they're probably second or third worst up there. They are 14.5 back currently to the LA Dodgers. I have no hope of them coming back. I am switching my pick to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I just want to note that I believe I made fun of you when you made that Padres pick.
You made fun of my Miami pick,
no,
too.
I just want to make sure that you know that I did make fun of you.
Oh, I'm not. I remember you making fun of me. You thought my Miami pick was bad, then you heard my Padres pick and said, I'm on crack.
Well,
so,
you are.
I can't believe I'm surprised I didn't go with the Diamondbacks here.
If I remember correctly, I think you were deciding to pick the Diamondbacks or the Padres, and you went with the Padres, which is funny.
I think it was lack of sleep that day. It was a last-minute decision type of deal.
And man,
but I'm switching my pick back. I'm switching my pick back to the Diamondbacks. Thank you very much. Obviously, the Padres are not going to up this one. Just because Matt has the Dodgers, I'm hoping the Diamondbacks knock them off. That's all I got to say there.
Hater.
Yep. Hey, haters going to hate. Just like you went against my pick in Croatia, although France was the better team at that time.
You're welcome.
But I'm talking about the last one that Croatia ended up winning. So I'm going to point out. You didn't like my sleeper pick because all of your guys were knocked off. So how about that home run derby, Matt? Who since you don't really care, I'm guessing you're going with Bryce Harper after you talk so highly of him.
I would not pick Bryce Harper for anything. Literally nothing I would pick Bryce Harper for. For the home run derby, I'm going with our Phillies slugger, Rhys Hoskins. I'm hoping that he takes it and they gave some momentum to do well for the rest of the season. He's a very good power hitter. So, I don't see why he won't do well in this situation, but the format isn't what it used to be, so it's all one-on-one matchups. So, I guess it depends on how, if he gets in the groove from the beginning. So, but yeah, that's my pick, Rhys Hoskins.
The format's a little interesting, but only because you're picking Hoskins, I'm going to go against you, and it happens to be Hoskins' first-round matchup. And I'm really picking with him, one, because you pick Hoskins, and two, because his name is Jesus. We're talking about Jesus here. It's in his name. He's meant to win it. He is number one overall somehow. I'm guessing he's leading in home runs, and Hoskins is the 8th seed in this. So I'm going with Jesus to knock off Hoskins in the first round and then continue on and win the entire thing because, it's in his name, man. He's Jesus. He's going to win it.
Once again, Ryan's hating. He just want to pick against me, and he went with a guy named Jesus. I guess one of us is going to be right for the first round matchup. At least we could say that much.
Hey, we at least one of us, like I said, one of us is going to be right. We at least not like our NL pick where we were not right at all. But hey, I'll take one of us being right, and it'll be me. But that's okay.
No. Rhys Hoskins all day.
I would like to see the Phillies guy win, but I'm still saying it's in his name, man. He's got this. So we talk about baseball and we joke around about this, but all in all, I mean, as a whole, out of all the sports we talk about, baseball's slowly dying. It used to be America's pastime, and again, me and Matt were talking about this, but it's kind of fading out, don't you think?
I mean, no doubt. I mean, I read a couple articles over the last few days about in today's world, a lot of if you think about it, like teenagers or 20-year-olds. I mean, even people like us are our age. We really don't follow baseball as we used to. I mean, I guess when our attention spans got lower, baseball is not the sport that we want to like. I mean, especially I kind of don't like watching it on TV. It's so slow. Yeah, basically. I mean, it's slow. Every pitch is the pitcher takes like 30 seconds between pitches. It just slow moving. I mean, a game takes 3 hours. That's just a 9-inning game, let alone if it goes to extra innings. But I mean, I remember as a kid, I love playing baseball as a kid. I mean, I remember Ryan and me, we played AA together. But I mean, like, since then, I don't know what happened. Like, watching baseball is boring as hell. I mean, I still enjoy going to the park here and there to watch like a live game. I get like that's still fun, but that's mostly because of the tailgating factor and just hanging out with friends is mostly the reason why that's fun. But sitting in your seat and watching a baseball game for 3 hours, it's not really
Again,
it's
put
not
you
the
to
most
sleep.
entertaining thing in the world. So I mean, I know viewership is down tremendously. Basically, fans of baseball only follow their own hometown or favorite team, so they don't even watch baseball as like a whole. As the other sports, where like if you're a football or basketball or hockey fan, you watch not only your own favorite team, but you like watching games in general, which is the case because I know both Ryan and I, like, yes, we're Sixers fans, and Ryan being a Cowboys fan, me being an Eagles fan, we would watch other games that are on TV for basketball or football. But in baseball, that's not the case. Like, yeah, we'll follow the Phillies, but like, do I care if the Padres are playing the Diamondbacks? No, I don't care. Like, it doesn't do anything for me. Like, even the best teams, even if the Red Sox and Yankees, one of the best rivalries in baseball, if they were on TV, I mean, maybe I tune in and watch a couple innings, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'll put on my phone, 8 o'clock, I'm gonna watch this on TV. Like, no, I don't care. And I see this being a big problem because if I was the commissioner of baseball, I would try to think of something to hopefully improve, try to get young fans to be involved or like care about baseball, because I feel like in the next 20, 30 years, I'm not saying baseball's going to be gone, but I feel like it's the viewership's going to be almost not there at all. I mean, TV viewership, I don't know who's going to watch it on TV at this rate. It's just so slow. I mean, I don't know, Ryan, I don't know if you disagree at all, or if you have any kind of suggestions on how baseball could be improved.
Well, I know they've definitely been making the pitching a lot quicker. They have a countdown now. If you've noticed, like when I was at the Phillies game earlier this year, they have I think it's like 30 seconds or 20 seconds you have to get that next pitch off to make the game move a little bit faster here. But I don't disagree. It's definitely drawn out. The other issue I feel is it's way too long of a season. Like, you don't need that many games to play. I'm sorry, but you really don't. You don't need to play the same team 12, 14 different times throughout the season. Once or twice in a series, and call it, move on. I think if you shorten the season, you maybe get a little bit more fan viewership. I think also, like I said, you move it quicker. Watching them, they're trying to get the pitches to move quicker so that it does move a little faster. But in general, the game has always been a boring game. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed playing, but at the same time, I remember sitting there being bored out of my mind half the time, drawing in the sand. like it's just a boring game. It is what it is. But like you said, it is slowly dying. I don't know if there's much more you can do with this game besides what they've already done by moving it along quicker with the pitches and all that, and maybe not as much of of the warming up in between innings. I don't think maybe like a couple throws here and there. All right, let's go. Let's move it on. Start the game up. You're just gonna be staying there anyway, waiting for a ball to be hit to you. What's the point of warming up in between innings? Everyone knows where they're batting. Everyone knows where they are on the field. Just get to your positions, throw a couple more pitches as a pitcher, and then boom, get out there and start batting. Maybe that'll move it along a little bit quicker. I mean, you got to think about how much time that takes up in between innings. Just little things like that. Not as much breaks in between. Just like I said, just keep it continually moving. You may drop it down to like a 2-hour game at that point.
Yeah, I mean, on your point of making the season shorter, I don't see that ever happening. Because baseball is all about the numbers, and like that 162 games is something that's like it's etched in stone. I don't see them ever moving it. It's all about numbers and records in baseball. It's like Joe DiMaggio's 56 game hitting streak, or whether it be Hank Aaron's home run record, which is now broken by Barry Bonds. The stolen base record by Ricky Henderson. Like, these are things that just even the casual baseball fan knows these specific things. It's all like baseball's like things like that. I don't see it ever changing. Whereas football, basketball, like I feel like those games are more viable options for they're more open to change. Whereas baseball, like they're not willing to change 162 games, 9 innings. Like imagine if.
I don't disagree with you, but they got to figure out something here. That's all I'm saying. Is the point.
Instead of 9 innings, you make it 7. Like 5.
But then again, you're throwing out stats there where a pitcher pitches
I
all
get
9
it.
innings
I get
as a
it.
complete game. Pitchers can pitch 7 innings as a complete game. It's the same instance where if they're not going to want to shorten the season, shortening up innings could be another big issue. Is the remark I'm making.
No doubt.
That's all.
But like, otherwise, we're all gonna go fall asleep. Like, we're not gonna watch. I mean, I think that's our problem. Like, who's watching these games? I feel like you got like people who are like 50 plus years old who are watching baseball games, like, who care. And, you know, no offense, but I mean, they're not the people that, you know, make companies want people who are in the 18 to like 40 age range to, you know, be the consumers. That's how you make money. That's where all the other sports like football, basketball. I mean, even like hardcore hockey fans, like they watch they love to consume these sports. Like every time there's a game or an article, they want to learn more about it. Baseball, it's just not the case. Unfortunately, it's not that I hate the game. Like I wish. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I still do enjoy it from time to time. But I just cannot. Like, it's not as important to me as the other sports, and I don't think it ever will be. Again, just because of the fact that the game is so slow and just not entertaining as a whole. And unless there's a drastic change coming in the future, which honestly I'm not getting my hopes up for that. I just don't know what they're going to do to try to gain more fans.
All right, on to hot topic. Running back's career in football isn't long, and an ex-Cowboy, the name DeMarco Murray, who Matt also knows who was an Eagle for a short period of time, but had his best career when he was with the Cowboys. Has retired after 7 seasons. I didn't remember. I didn't even think it was that long he was in the league, but he made it 7 seasons, and he must have just decided, hey, he's got banged up enough, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Plus, you know, after he left the Cowboys, he really just was on a downward decline, really, for the most part. His worst season was definitely when he played in Philadelphia, and I'm so proud of him for that. But you know, other than that, he's been mediocre at best. You know, I guess he said, hey, I made my money. I'm gonna sit and retire. So, you know, much respect to that. We loved you when you were in Dallas, and, you know, enjoy retirement.
Yeah, I mean, DeMarco Murray had a very very short career, which is not shocking for running backs. And the way that he played, he was a very bruising downhill type runner. So I'm not surprised by the short career. But I mean, like Ryan mentioned, his best portion of his career was with the Cowboys, mostly because the Cowboys had one of the best offensive lines we've ever seen. So it made his life easier. And then he had, you know, I believe he was the leading rusher that last season with the Cowboys, if I'm not wrong.
That's correct.
And then he came to the Eagles. I believe it was the Chip Kelly Eagles that he came on to, which never is good.
Yep.
Chip Kelly, I still hate him, even though we won the Super Bowl. But he did try to screw over the Eagles.
Not under Chip Kelly.
Hell no.
Not under Chip Kelly.
He's an idiot. Retard. Yeah. That's why he's back in college again. But yeah, I mean, he didn't do well with the Eagles. I mean, did he get over 1,000 yards with the Eagles? He may have, just because of the way that Chip Kelly ran his offense. He might have just got like garbage yards. But
squeaked by, but I mean, he had no offensive line, which was the problem that I saw from the very beginning with him going to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the way that Chip Kelly ran the offense. It didn't fit with the way that DeMarco plays. And then he went to Tennessee, I believe, which I don't think he did horrifically. I think he was okay. It just, I mean, obviously he'll never was going to go back to the standards he set back in the Cowboys part of his career. That was clearly his prime time. But yeah, I mean, overall, he had a very good career. Thought he was a pretty good running back.
No, he had 702 yards with the Eagles.
That season?
Yeah, that season. He had, and it was Titans his last 2 years. He had 1,200 his first year and then 659 his last year with Tennessee.
So, I mean, like I was saying, I mean, he was a pretty decent running back, but I mean, no, I would not call him like a Hall of Fame level running back. He was a decent running back for his for his era, I would say. On to my hot topic for this week. We don't really talk about this sport often in our podcast, but tennis. Talk about Wimbledon. The men's Wimbledon champion was Novak Djokovic. He won his, I believe it is his 13th Grand Slam. He's definitely one of the best players we have in men's tennis. So with guys like Federer and Nadal losing earlier, Djokovic was definitely the clear favorite here. Then in the women's side, we had Angelique Kerber beat Serena Williams. Serena Williams is obviously, a known commodity in women's tennis. Arguably one of the best athletes we've seen in a while. Serena was just coming off of giving birth to her child, and the fact that she was able to go all the way to the Wimbledon finals is, one of the greatest feats I've ever heard of. I mean, she just got back into playing tennis, and boom, she's already in a championship. I mean, it's impressive the fact that she got that far, and I'm sure she'll be back to winning majors soon enough. The fact that she was able to do this so quickly after, being pregnant is, like I said, is a great feat. And, it gives hope for, women who, women athletes who think that, maybe their athletic skills may, not be as good as it used to be once they're pregnant, which clearly, Serena's clearly almost as good as she used to be. And I'm sure once she gets the rust off, she'll be winning championships again.
All right, so, Nadal and Federer, falling off early, like Matt said, definitely helped. But, also these guys are definitely getting older, and, I guess they couldn't move the way they need to against some of these younger guys in the tournament. And, nice to see a new face in there. But, Serena not being able to finish that storybook ending, that was heartbreaking. But hey, she came back from being pregnant and made it that far. So, like Matt said, there's no way she's not getting back into winning some titles here in the near future. I mean, that was getting the rust off after having a child, and she basically knocked out the competition until that championship game where, it was a great matchup back and forth, but she couldn't pull it off, and good luck to her in the next tournament.
Well, that's all we have for this week's episode of the Benchwarmers. Once again, if you could please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube, and you can follow us on Twitter at Benchwarmers06. Thanks again. See you guys next week.
The Benchwarmers.